Learning the new phone technology. Okay, good evening and welcome to the June 13th meeting of the Newmarket Conservation Commission. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sue, would you call the roll call, please?
Reynolds.
Present.
Melissa Sharples.
Present.
Drew Kefever.
Present.
Sarah Finch.
Present.
Casey Finch.
Present.
Sue, I would like to appoint Drew Kefever as a full voting member tonight. Okay, so we have some members of the public. We're also then going to hear on an expedited wetlands permit. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Jeff, you're the member of the public. If you could just introduce yourself and...
Thank you, Patrick. My name's Jeff Goldnoff. I live at 117 Ash Swamp Road. And I just wanted to come in real quick, briefly, give you kind of a heads up on kind of the turtle situation actually on Ash Swamp Road, and kind of just let you guys know kind of what we're finding at our house. So you know, if you're not familiar, if you're going down Ash Swamp Road from like the golf course, it's about halfway between the golf course and Grant Road. There's a low point in the road, and there's turtle signs on either side of it. The bigger ones, not like the small one down by the golf course. And there's a swamp on both sides. And since I've lived there for about 11 years or so, and we've seen spotted turtles the whole time we've lived there, and then in the last few years we've started to see Blanding's turtles crossing the road there. And we actually hit Blanding's turtle a year or two ago up to the Center for Wildlife. And I moved a Blanding's turtle off the road last fall, and then again we moved another one off this spring. And there are different sizes, and we took pictures, so there are slightly different colors on their shell. So you can tell that there are two different Blanding's turtles. And also last year we had, we found one hit spotted turtle, and this year so far already 2 hit spotted turtles, like right in front of our house basically. So there's a fair amount of turtle activity at that crossing, and we see there was a big old snapping turtle there the other day too, and that one's come up in our yard possibly in years past, as we've had a large one up there. And I'm not sure exactly what the right move to do in the situation like that. So we go down, check the road all the time. A car slows down, we go down there, we see a turtle on the road, we move it the direction it's going. But just to let everyone know, we do report them to New Hampshire Fish and Game's reporting system for rare and threatened species. So we do report the sightings. And the only thing, I'm not sure, maybe someone else might know better, about them traveling through culverts. There are 2 very large culverts there, side by side, that they replaced after, I think, the Mother's Day flood, or one of the floods when the road kind of got a hole in it. They threw in 2 big culverts there. And they put I think it's like fiberglass screen in front of it, and the squares are not big enough for a turtle to pass through. And I don't know that they would go through there anyway. And 99% of the time, I think they're actually... they do cross the road and they come up into my yard to lay eggs, but we also do see them digging in the sand. The snapping turtle dug on the sand on both sides of the road the other day and kept going back and forth. So I don't know that thing would have gone through the culvert. I don't know that any of them would have gone through the culvert with a round, regular culvert, or if there's anything you guys can do, or I don't know, contact someone at Fish and Game and maybe have them come in and talk to you guys about, I don't know, road crossings and turtles and whatnot, or if there's... I didn't actually look into the screen size and if they'll pass through a culvert. I don't know if you know, Jeremy, by any chance. Yeah, because I know they push the live bottom culverts, right? Like the one that's supposed to be going in out on Bay Road, and I think those are better for wildlife to pass through. I know they're super expensive, things like that, and that's not always the first option, but I think talking to a wildlife biologist that specializes in turtles would be a decent start. I mean, they are endangered turtles, the Blandings are, so.
Do you think it's the traffic is sort of, you come over that rise and you don't know what's ahead of you. So there isn't a lot of warning. If there is a turtle on there and you're going at all fast, you're probably not going to be able to brake for it. That's one of the other problems, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. You do have probably 200 feet from the top of the hill to the culvert,
Okay.
at least. Well, no, probably not.
So,
at
I
least,
mean, I
probably
was
about
wondering
200
if the
feet, so.
positioning of the signs could make a difference if we
There's-
moved them to a different local.
I don't know.
So
Sometimes
the-
you wonder how they hit it, because a lot of times they're actually, the last spotted turtle that's still, he might still be there unless a bird picked it up or something picked it up to eat it, but was on the eastbound, so that they weren't coming over a hill, whoever hit that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I mean, the turtles aren't like little tiny baby turtle. I mean, they're like this big. Like it's a full-grown spotted turtle. The Blandings are bigger,
Yep.
but
Are those
I don't know if
signs, the signs that are out there, are they seasonal? Because I know some of the turtle signs fold up and away for the winter, and down.
yeah, fishing game, not fishing. Sorry, DPW removes them and puts them.
Yeah.
Up, you know.
I'm wondering
They
if
take them down.
maybe a different type of warning, like more signage or something like that, might be
Sometimes I
helpful.
wonder.
Like,
yeah.
it is turtle season, like,
Yeah.
slow down.
Well, I'll reach out to Fish and Game and see if they have any other suggestions of things that we could do.
I didn't I thought for some reason that on 108 they may have put riprap on either side of the culverts because the turtles won't climb. They can't climb over riprap, like a larger
Right.
stone. They're not going to go right up over there and try to lay eggs like right in that area. And I didn't know if that would help them say, oh, I better go through the culvert, but they can't go through the culvert because they won't fit through the screen.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest and say that I did hear a beaver the other night. And that's why the screen is there, and I completely understand that they were building a dam on the downstream side
Oh, jeez.
of it, and and every now and then they go over there with like a backhoe, I think, and dig it out. And I haven't seen any evidence that the beaver's doing much over there, but I did hear one the other night. So
If I may,
Yeah.
because I've stopped in many a time to move a turtle.
at that spot,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have. And one of the things that I've looked at there is that culvert, and I do think it's usable, but it's filled with debris, and it has not been cleaned for years. And so you look on both sides of it, and with turtles running, if you took chicken wire and laid that out, again, it would catch debris, and it would have to be something that I understand could be a maintenance issue, but something of that small size will direct the turtles. They will follow, because I get them on my farm all the time, and with the electric fence, I have to be very careful, because if they bite the electric fence, they'll die. And so for me, it's question of height of the fence to be able to make sure they can get underneath it. But we lost a big snapping turtle to the electric fence this spring, just about 2 weeks ago.
And I got into a fender bender stopping with my two grandkids in the back seat the day before yesterday because there was a turtle on our road. And I stopped, and the gal that was following me was tailgating,
yeah,
and she rammed into the back.
Oh, no.
yeah,
The turtle sign though.
yeah.
I probably was gonna sustain like $2,000 worth of damage with.
So that's true.
All
Yeah,
right.
that almost happened the other day at our house too. A fellow stopped because we had kept going down to look at the big snapping turtle and was it in the road again or not. And someone stopped to move the snapping turtle, and the second we got down there, because we heard the car stop there and we were outside in the yard, and the guy was apologizing to the other car a lot because I think he stopped relatively short to move it off the road.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that was the idea of I think of riprap or even a small fence to
They're just trying to
funnel
find
them
a
towards
place
a better
to
spot.
cross.
Right.
It's just, and the culvert there is really very usable.
Is it, do you think they'd use it? It's a big. They're two very big
Again, I'm
culverts.
not a turtle expert, but if they are trying to get to the other side and you can help direct them, it's sort of herding turtles.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too.
Are you okay if I talk to the state herpetologist and they want to we talk to you at all? Are you okay with me giving them your
Yeah.
your email at least?
Definitely. Without a
Okay.
doubt. Yeah, my wife's been trading emails with the reporting people because there was something up with their website. So
Yeah, because I might try and reach out to that person. I forgot their name, but
yeah.
see if we can. Because with Blandings, they might take a more of an interest in doing something. Yeah.
And I don't know why we see more Blandings now. I don't know if it's maybe they used to nest in the very sandy area behind the golf course there.
Yeah.
Where there are many houses.
That's true.
Because that's
They've
the
moved,
first
yeah.
year we saw one hit was right when they started that work. But either way,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Okay, so we've got a request for an expedited wetlands permit. We're ready to hear. I'm going to ask if you could pass that down, Casey, to Drew, who hasn't had a chance to see it. But go ahead.
One figure just to kind of help.
If you could go ahead and just introduce yourself so the public knows who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Britt Ekstrom. I'm with Wright Pierce. I'm here on behalf of the town. For the permit application we put together for its impacts associated with a pilot test at the Tucker Well property, which is owned by the town. I'll just scooch over here so this, and then I'll put this away. But let's see. So this is Hamel Farm Drive right here. So Ash Swamp is a little bit further over. Grant Road is over here. So not too far from where Chuck was talking about. But this is the property that's owned by the town here. This is the Piscassic River that flows through. And here's the existing well. It's located right here. And currently, you can see there's not any other way to access the property, except for right here, there's an existing crossing of the river that's used by from what I understand, by this property owner to gain access to this road for the pay. So, we'll put that away, and then talk a little bit more about the project. So the town is interested in developing that well as a drinking water source for the community. In order to do that, they need to test the quality of the water and also pilot test some of the different treatment processes that might be considered to make that a viable drinking water source. And in order to do that, they have to get some equipment out there. So that's what this permit is about. It's just for temporary impacts associated with getting equipment out to that well for probably a 2-week period. They need to bring out a well pump. They need to bring out a trailer with some equipment for the testing, and then a generator to power those things. So we have had the wetlands delineated out there, and we've also completed the NHB study, and we did come back with hits for Blandings turtle, maybe some of the ones that Jeff reported. There were some other species of that are either endangered or threatened that have been known to occur near the project area. That's northern long-eared bats, and also some plant species, great burrweed and climbing hempvine. And in addition to that, that riverbank system is considered a exemplary natural community. And then the other kind of layer that's unique to this is that section of wetlands is been designated as a prime wetland by the town. So given all of the, the important species that have been known to occur in the area and the importance of the wetland, we consulted with DES and also with NHB about how to best do this crossing in the least impactful way. And the proposal is to use timber mats to cross the river and do that at a low flow period, which is typically August around here. And then the timber mats would extend up the riverbanks, and then a little hard to see on this picture here, but the wetland delineation extends out into the field here. So we're proposing to either continue the timber mats out here or possibly install geotextile stone on top that vehicles could drive over, prevent rutting of the field, and then that would all be removed once the testing is done. Let's see what else. So we have submitted the permit application to DES in order to get the clock ticking on that. But we are here tonight I'm here tonight to address any concerns, questions you may have, in kind of interest and support of any comments that you may need to provide to DS as a part of your typical review of the permits. But we're also asking for your support of a waiver request that we've included with the permit application to waive the 20-day holding period that is typically required after the department makes their decision associated with projects that are in prime wetlands. So those are our two purposes for being here tonight. So with that, I'll turn it over to any questions or comments.
Drew?
Drew Keyfaber. So can you tell me a little more about the timber mat construction of the crossing or bridge or whatever you want to call it?
Sure. And I
I'm
apologize.
having a hard time envisioning it.
Oh, I was almost going to bring some pictures. So they're the timber mats that you will see out in like utility corridors right now. Like Eversource is doing a bunch of work in the area. They're, pretty good sized timbers that are laid out. So they will be laid out in the perpendicular direction of traffic, except for over the crossing, they'd have to go this way. So they'll sit on either side of the bank. From what I've heard, the river gets very low at that time of year, and maybe only a couple inches deep. So the mats would likely be placed over the water, and there'd be enough room to allow flow to continue. If the flow was a little bit higher than a couple inches, then you could put you consider it like a pier. So you'd place a couple mats in the middle of the stream, but then you could bridge with more mats on top of that. Apologize, I didn't bring any pictures. Hopefully that's conveying the point. And then those all get removed once the work is done.
And they're usually, if I remember right, usually just made out of untreated timbers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm just wondering why you're looking to have it expedited.
Well, we would like to do the work in August when the flow is lowest, and so just in terms of typical review times, we're just pushing up against that. So that's the reason for expediting it.
So the permit application does say standard review for what it's worth.
Right, which is going to be 50 days, hopefully sooner. Stephanie's not too busy, but understand she's got her regulatory time frame, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, do you have a motion on supporting an expedited permit for I'm gonna call it the Tucker Well Crossing?
I'll make a motion to support the expedited processing of the Tucker Well
Crossing. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Now, did you say the copy is in there that we need to sign, or? I just wanna make sure, I've got the note about the letter of support, and
Yeah.
usually we would include that with the signed application, so I just wanna make sure that's in there. Yes, it is, okay, thank you, Drew.
I think so.
Okay, yep, alright. So I will put that over to the town clerk tomorrow.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay.
All right, thank you
All
very much. I appreciate you hearing us so quickly, too.
Yep.
Thank you for coming and keeping us informed.
Yeah.
go to approval of the minutes from the meeting on May 9th. Did everybody get a chance to review those minutes? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 9th.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, I am excited to say we have a treasurer's report. Drew, I want to make sure that you also can see that. Pass that down. So I do believe we have the, just wanted to point out a couple payments that I believe should be on here. Oh, okay, the Heron Point gate is on there. Our support for the 8th grade field trip. Our New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission's payment is on there. Our transfer for the fishing derby. These are all on the last page. If you have a question about where they are. And then we also got statements of lot use changes that were received in recently, I guess. It does only one of them has a recent date, I should say. 28 Neal Mill Road was 5/13/19, and then 29 Doe Farm Lane was in March. And we also have the Shopmeyer Park Fund with a balance of $18,298. Is there any questions on any of the treasurer's report?
28 Neal Mill Road, and then the other was 29.
29 Doe Farm Lane.
Doe Farm Lane.
That's not on one?
March 18th. I'll pass this down to you, Sue, so you have it, if you want to see a copy of it. Okay. Subcommittee reports, town council.
Not too much for the town council. One thing I will mention is as part of the energy audit, the lights are being replaced with sensors, so depending on where people are, the lights will actually shut off to save electricity. They're all LED, so that's kind of just a nice little thing that's happening. And the only other thing from the town council that I wanted to mention and kind of bring forth to the commission was Shinda Park. The town is working on our goals, and we kind of talked about looking at the waterfront. Shinda Park is owned by the commission, and the town has expressed an interest in perhaps taking over maintenance to help expedite repair and restoration of Shinda Park. So I think I kind of encourage a discussion on whether or not the commission wants to hand over maintenance to the town of Shinda Park. And that's it.
I certainly would be in favor of the town being involved in the day-to-day maintenance of Shanda Park. I think that there would probably still be an obligation if the town was to undergo any kind of major restoration, which obviously is one of the things that does need to happen, the seawall in particular, that would obviously still probably have to be at least come before us and be approved, but I would support, like I said, the day-to-day maintenance is certainly something that I would think would be a good thing, and I would know that it would be on a regular scheduled program with DPW. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, I guess the other idea too is if it becomes a goal, if the town has permission to look into options for it, which they would then bring back to the Conservation Commission.
Right.
How to move forward, but I think the goal there is that there would be some work beyond just Janda Park, so to look at how to kind of integrate that and then present those options to the commission. So I think that's kind of what the town was thinking about, having some kind of relationship with where they could move forward on those types of planning ideas.
I would support that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would too. To my mind, it provides a level of continuity that is sometimes lacking on any of the town boards or commissions, or however you want to say it. We all have fixed terms. Sometimes people renew, sometimes they don't, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we lose historic knowledge, and having a more consistent basis, I think, is probably a little better from that perspective.
To encourage that, I would propose a motion that the Conservation Commission supports the town looking into assuming maintenance responsibility for the park, and to do any further studying that they want to do on how to integrate that into any kind of waterfront plan that they have. And then we would look forward to hearing back from the town once they have a plan in place. Or, again, I guess that would also include, so if they have a maintenance plan, if they could present that as well. So,
And I think our town administrator would want to chat with you as chair, just to get
Yep.
the process rolling.
okay. So, I don't know if that's too wordy of a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. Planning board?
Nothing to report necessarily. We did also vote and agree on providing a letter of support for the well. So that's the only thing of importance, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I was not available to attend.
You said last, or that there was gonna be a discussion at the planning board meeting about it.
We didn't talk about it, no. We met on Tuesday. I'm not sure why we didn't talk about it. Oh, because the application was withdrawn. This is for the driving range, right? Yes, that's why.
Okay. All right. I'll move on to the chairman's report. Just real quick, a few things. One, I got an update on Shopmire Park that I wanted to share with everybody from Richie Shelton. The docks are in. The new signage is also in. The sign is, laying out sort of the rules and regulations at the park, is there. Like I said, the docks are in. They're looking at the kayak rack and getting that moving, but there's no update on that. The Boy Scouts are going to move the picnic tables into the area where there previously were picnic tables, that small camping area. If you walk across the floating dock from the grassy area into the woods down there at the riverfront, you'll see that area that's sort of opened up a little bit. That's where those picnic tables will go. And the Eagle Scout is also working on erecting a flagpole which will have a solar light at the park. So I don't know if there's any other questions about anything at Shopmire Park, but sounds like things are open and ready to go there. So encourage people to go down. Did get a request just to remind people to please pick up after your dogs. It's not only a courtesy, but it's also just dog waste can spread diseases and so on. So wherever you are in town, whether you're on public property or private property or on the street, it's really helpful if you can pick up after your dog. So, and some of the places do have the doggy bags. I know Shanda Park is one of those places that's had them in the past. I'm not sure if it's full right now, but okay. And last thing I had was that the fishing derby is on Saturday, and I believe the siren will sound at 7 a.m. to throw your line in the water, and they're very excited. They have some great prizes this year. I know one of them is a deep sea fishing excursion for one of the category winners. I think it's one of the age groups. And they've got a lot of special things because I believe this is the 30th anniversary of the fishing derby. So they've got a lot of things going on down there, and I'm sure the pond will be full of trout and ready to go. Lots of water this year, so should be a great event. Hopefully people will get down there if they've got some fishermen ages. I don't think you can be as young as you want, but I think the age limit is 14 for kids. So I've seen kids down there that are barely walking that are fishing in the little tiny pond. So it's open there. Okay.
Should have good weather that day too.
Yeah. I think the weather will be good. Make sure and wear lots of bug spray because the bugs are pretty ferocious.
And eye protection.
We also have, the last thing I have is, one last thing. I have the request from Newmarket Recreation for Shanda Park use. This is their Arts in the Park series that they've been running for years now. It's Tuesday nights. It'll be starting July 2nd and it'll run through August 27th. It's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They have music, I believe, on these nights. It's great. Those are great events. So they have their permit request here. So, and the other event that they have down is the kayak race, which right now is scheduled for Saturday, July 27th. And that event will go from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And their total time in the park will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I have this permit in front of me. I will make a motion that we approve the Newmarket Recreation's permit to use the park on those dates.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Okay. All right. Next, we have old and new business, and the first thing on there is our photo contest.
Yes, so we are closing in on our target date of, we're thinking July 20th for using the rec department's van. We're tossing around times that we want to do that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to do it all day. Probably earlier toward the morning, 10 a.m. or so. We'll be reaching out to the Historical Society and placing an article in the town's newsletter for docents for each location. We hope to have one person with knowledge of each location to talk a little bit about the land and its history. And we'll be pulling flyers together regarding the exhibit to get handed out at the fishing derby on Saturday, as well as into the newsletter. So.
Oh, by the way, the fishing derby is on Lang's Lane at the Richmond Pond, which is, I believe, 30 Lang's Lane, and there'll be parking signs indicating where you should and shouldn't park on Lang's Lane, just to remind everybody about that. But,
Yeah, we've been posting in the Conservation Commission's Facebook page, the Instagram posts, just reminding everybody that we are preparing for the photo exhibit. We encourage everybody to take part. We'd love to see family photos and just people out enjoying our public land. So.
great. Okay, that's really all I had under new and old business. So we would proceed at this point to our non-public session. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. I'm making a motion that we go into a non-public session to discuss confidential matters related to real estate pursuant to RSA 91-A:3- Roman numeral 2 C. So, do I have a second on that?
A second.
All in favor? Okay, I'll just make sure that the
That's official, huh?
It's really